It's official, the Model 3 is the safest car ever tested by NHTSA, and tonight I take you through all the new hotness in version 9.0, courtesy of the release notes from Tesla. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 458 for October 8th, 2018. In a late-breaking story before my recording, Tesla released via its blog that the Model 3 has achieved the lowest probability of injury rating ever recorded in testing by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. This backs up the 5-star in every category safety rating that the organization had already bestowed on Tesla's newest model. The Model 3 had some tough competition to make it to the top, with the Model S and Model X previously holding down the top two spots. Per the testing, in an accident in Model 3, you have a less than 6% chance of sustaining a serious injury. Model S and Model X afford you a less than 7% chance of injury. Tesla credits Model 3's low center of gravity and the rigid properties of the battery pack as major influences on the testing, as well as the lack of a massive internal combustion engine up front that gives the car a huge crumple zone to dissipate the energy of a front collision. The full post has a plethora of technical information and videos as well, so go check it out if you want the nitty-gritty details. Congrats to the Tesla team in literally building the safest cars on the road. Our main story for the night, though, is that version 9 finally made its long-awaited debut to the general public. However, as I mentioned last show, it did it without one of its marquee features, that being Navigate on Autopilot. But there's still plenty to see, despite the omission. I need to caveat this tour at the start with the fact that I own an AP1 Model S, so I may or may not have all the features available to the newer cars. Also, I'll be detailing the changes for Model S and Model X owners only, as I don't have access to a Model 3 to be able to speak with authority. Most of these changes are already in the 3 anyhow, and us Model S and Model X owners are simply playing catch-up. With that said, firstly and most obviously for Model S and Model X users is the revamped interface. The black bar containing all apps across the top has been removed in favor of adding more of an app drawer at the bottom to select your apps. This gives a touch more screen real estate for your apps. A neat feature of the new drawer is that dragging up from the drawer will automatically launch your last app. A nice little touch similar to the Nav Systems feature that dragging down on the Navigate menu will automatically navigate you home or to work depending on the time of day and if these locations are programmed already. The only app constantly available with a dedicated icon on the bottom is the Media app. Also gone is the split screen setup from before. Now activating an app will pop a window from the bottom. You can drag the window up further to get a double-sized window of some apps, but you cannot take any app truly full screen any longer. Speaking of which, Nav really can't be considered an app any longer, as it's always running. It's always visible, no matter how big you decide to make an app's window. More on the UI, we look at the settings of the car. Previously, there were 2 tabs available when opening the controls menu, Controls and Settings, and light, door, and trunk controls were always at the bottom of the Controls tab. Now, everything is contained in a tab menu on the left, with the aforementioned light, door, and trunk controls held in a Quick Controls menu that is at the top of the list. Also included in Quick Controls are the sunroof controls if your car is so equipped. The first new thing that went subtly under the radar in coverage of this version of the software is that the auto lane change function, which used to be something that could be enabled or disabled, is now permanently enabled. If you've engaged auto steer, fully activating the turn signal will cause the car to automatically change lanes if it can. Climate control has undertaken a slight UI change. Tapping the fan will bring up extended controls that are similar to the previous ones. However, the independent climate control zones work a bit differently. In the previous version, both driver and passenger controls were always on display, even if synced. Now, the passenger control only displays if the system is not synced. As before, to display the sync option, simply adjust the temperature up or down any amount, and the sync button appears briefly for you to tap if desired. We move now to the media player, which has received the most attention in this update. I love this update, as the media player can now sit in a compact mode at the bottom, showing only the most essential features for operation. Album art, title and album name, play controls, the favorite icon, and the equalizer are all that appear in this mode. Sliding the app up one notch displays your recents and favorites, as well as the ability to search and to select which mode to use for the player. A further swipe up gives you the controls you're used to for each mode, albeit a little rearranged to fit the new UI scheme. One other note about the media is the ability to enable or disable the new mobile app controls that allow folks to control the media in the car is hidden in the equalizer menu. Just tap it, and underneath the tone and balance tabs, you'll see an options tab. Tap that, and you'll find the controls to use DJ commentary, allow explicit content, and the mobile controls. Speaking of that mobile app, that's a good segue into the new features in this app. One of the most awesome of these features is the ability to share a location from a navigation app on your phone to the Tesla app that sends the location to the car's navigation system. In addition to the aforementioned media features, the app also now allows you the ability to start a software update on the car when one becomes available. If you have other folks that have the app access to your vehicle or are currently in the vehicle, they'll get a notification of what's happening and get the option to cancel the update to prevent them from being potentially inconvenienced by the update downing the car for several minutes. On the safety front, a new option appears to prevent some of the unintended acceleration accidents we've seen in the past. Enabling obstacle-aware acceleration will prevent the car from zooming forward if an obstacle is detected in front of the car while traveling at low speed. Lastly, we have the Atari games that have been included in the Easter egg menu. Tap the Tesla logo and open the Easter egg basket to get to them. Included are Centipede, Missile Command, Lunar Lander, and Asteroids. Sadly, no pole position yet. Honestly, the games are fairly difficult to play. You can either opt to play via the touchscreen, or you can use the steering wheel and scroll wheels of the car to make the fun happen. A fun distraction, and something to do while needing to pass some time if you happen to find yourself early returning to your car at the supercharger. That covers everything in my release notes. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and if you're an owner, I hope you got your update so you can go have fun with all the new stuff. Check out the links to the full stories in the show description. While you're at it, please consider supporting the show financially through Patreon at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. Thanks so much to the newest patron of the show, Martin Mostol. Also, as always, thanks to our super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are John Waltower, Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Mark and Sarah Thomas, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dory and Steve Guberman, Bruno Quindici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Rammer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Michael Pastroni, and Travis and Cheyenne Rush. If you're looking to purchase any Tesla vehicle now, as they did make an update to the referral program, you can enjoy a $100 supercharging credit on that vehicle and hook me up with some Tesla swag if you use the referral link ts.la/Jim50888 to purchase that vehicle. If you can't support with dollars, feel free to leave a positive review for the show instead. If you have feedback for me, as always, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I'll see everyone back here again on Wednesday. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.